excellent.
All right, man. So tell me the latest and greatest and just what you're running into, where you're at.
All right. Um, so I went back on your online course and I went through I kind of redid the test of like, kind of the 30-second answers of what do you like, what you don't like, good at. And that was actually good to do, right? Like 2 or 3 weeks later, just to see if anything's really changed. And it did help kind of focus me a little bit. You kind of get lost when you're looking through the jobs. You kind of get pigeonholed into this is what I'm seeing.
Right.
And that really helped me kind of step back a little bit and look a little more closely.
Cool.
Um, so those were good questions.
What
Um,
what stood out to you as like the most exciting, or what lit you up the most?
in terms of the questions, like what was
Yeah.
most helpful?
Like you
It
typically go through all the questions, then you get to the end, you go, okay, now what stood out as like the most, what do I want to do?
Some of the things that I didn't want to do were
Okay.
actually helpful. I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't really like that. I don't want to be involved in hiring anybody, for
Mm,
instance. It's like I don't want to build a team.
right.
I'm
Like
happy
job
to do some.
interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not my jam. Um, so that was really helpful because I'd always been thinking about what I did want to do,
Right.
and kind of adding into the mix things I didn't want to do,
Cool.
helped kind of rule some stuff out. So
Excellent.
that was
Excellent.
really good. Um,
Um, and I want to emphasize that, part of it is doing what you hate until you can delegate. Like, I used to do bike security when I was in college, and I used to ride around the campus. And there was this I was near a hospital, and there was a guy there. I might have told you the story. It's in the book or whatever, but there's this guy there who would walk to the hospital, and at first he was a janitor. He would go and he would like start mopping up, like uh, whatever he mopped up at the hospital. And then he was like, I really want to become a Spanish guy, a really nice guy. We'd chat every time he walked back and forth. And this went over, years, right? So like the next year, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm doing my nurse training." And then so first he was mopping floors, then he did his nurse training. He became a nurse for heart surgeons. And then, I don't know where he's at now, but he was telling me that he even started to like assist on surgeries and stuff like that.
oh man,
So by the time, I left, he was doing surgeries and like hardcore heart surgeries and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he started
man,
mopping floors and he made it all the way up to a heart surgeon. So
that's a good path, man.
yeah, so you gotta
Um,
sometimes you just have to get your foot in the door too,
yep,
you know,
yep.
and then you can move up.
And I think that's also something between kind of reevaluating from the questions and then something you told me last time about just remembering like the niches.
Hmm.
Um, Again, that's all been helpful in really thinking about how to kind of move, laterally a little bit, right? Move out of
Right,
some of the stuff I'm doing. So how do I keep a foot in to some of the experience I can demonstrate,
right,
while kind of pivoting a little bit. Um, so between the what do you like, don't like, really thinking about niches and stuff.
right.
It's had me opening up kind of a whole new area of job, right? Because I've been saying I've been like cyber stuff,
Yeah,
but a lot of what I'm doing is kind of with like a defense contractor, and so one of the paths might be uh, leaning into the defense side and
sure,
moving into the IT on the defense side as a stepping stone to
sure,
whatever else might be
sure.
uh, opening.
Um, and you should create, and I think LinkedIn will do this for you. If you sign up for the premium trial and you start going through the job searches, you can kind of create a search around one word. For example, I started to realize, cybersecurity is huge. Obviously, there's, thousands and thousands of jobs, but you can like niche it down into, like PCI DSS, or you can go even smaller into like NIST. NIST is uh, the
National Institute
standard.
of
Right.
standards
It's
and
the
sometimes.
standard that the government uses to do a lot of their jobs. So you're typically applying to government jobs, which is good because, government, they pay a lot and they pay on time. They can always print more money. Like I mentioned that in the last call, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of was going for those jobs as a consultant, and I could go in and, security consultant, NIST, or just type in NIST and see what comes up and, see, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. You know what I mean? And they're typically all, I mean, some are 50 an hour to 100 to 200 an hour, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Which would be like a
Yeah.
lot. If you
Yeah.
translate
Yeah.
that out, I think 200 an hour is like, what is it? 50 an hour is 150K, I think, right? Per
Okay.
year.
So 200 an
So,
hour.
so if you do 100 an hour, that's 300,000 a year. And if you do, 200 an hour, that's 600,000 a year you could be being paid. You know what I mean?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
impactful.
acceptable.
Yeah, we'll take that
Oh,
as a starting ground.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, I want you to kind of develop 10 niche words on your LinkedIn, and then you put in easy apply. And I just want you to kind of track those words. Let me see if I can pull up my LinkedIn really quick and show you an example. LinkedIn. And it's easy if you do it on your phone too. If you click on jobs, I don't know if you can see that. Of course, it's
yeah, it's
playing
blurry.
some
Yeah.
weird background. I'm gonna turn off the background. There we go. Video settings. I gotta turn off my blurry background too. All right, anyways, none. There we go. I got a white wall behind me anyway, so it's not a big deal. But okay. So yours should look like this. Consultant. Can you see that at all?
Not quite.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
It was worth a try. So it has like consultant 167 new, United States. Consultant NIST 320 new. NIST 60 new by itself. So you can kind of senior security consultant 64 new, senior security consultant in United States 182 new, senior security consultant 100K plus 699 new. So that just shows you how many brand new ones there are every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Man.
so yeah, and then just hit, the top 10 each day. You got to make sure you do your 10, 10, 10, right? 10 senior recruiters, 10 job applications, and then 10 reach out to them and actually say, hey, can you answer a business question for me? Or, and the more authentic you are, if you reach out, hey, great to connect. Can I ask you a question about Dell? Or can I ask you a question, what's the easiest way to apply? Or, do you work on any cybersecurity roles right now? But
Yeah.
the first step is to get them to reply to you. So I usually like leave a mystery sandwich. So I'm like, hey, can I ask you a business question? ... Question mark. And then you
Okay.
just
Okay.
wait for for them to answer. And as soon as you get a response, then you can say, hey, are you currently working on any cybersecurity roles? And
Yeah.
then you can kind of get in a back and forth with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing I did, which was pretty impressive, is you find these niches like Salesforce, for example. Like ton of companies need Salesforce guys. And also cyber or Qualys, or you find these software niches that, and perhaps they may even be asking about a software that you've never even heard of. But I used Salesforce like once 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I used it at my company, I logged in, and that was about it, right? And so they ask you like, how many years of Salesforce? And you could say, well, I did 10 years because it was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? But typically you don't want to come off like a ton about it if you don't, right? So I say, 1 year, or even if I don't know much about that thing, I'll say maybe 1 year, and then if I get an interview with that company about that position, because it's highly focused on that software that barely anybody knows, then I'll like jump through the free trial. I'll do the tutorial before I go into the meeting. And then, I already have basic knowledge of what they're talking about. And then I can jump into the meeting with this highly niched software.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that'd be
you
fair
can
enough.
go, like I've seen some positions that are like 250K and they need somebody who has experience with Okta, for example. Okta is like it's login software, right?
Okay.
It's multi-factor authentication. That's all it is. It's a software, and maybe you use multi-factor authentication for years and you've logged in via your phone, so generally how it works. But all you have to do is say that you're moderately experienced with it, or with multi-factor, or you can even just say, not with Okta specifically, but I've worked with multi-factor authentication for many years, and then you just jump into a tutorial and watch some YouTube videos on it before the interview. But the interview would trigger all that work. You know what I mean? You wouldn't then go watch tutorials before you have an interview. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
recruiter reaches out and goes, "Hey, I see you have experience with Okta. Let's set up an interview." And then you jump in once the interview is scheduled. And part of that is also when you set, like, you should be booking at least one interview a week right now. Like with that 10-10-10, that should result, if you're doing 10 applications every day, it should result in one interview at least per week, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You should be getting bites back and you should be upgraded to premium. Additionally, so you should at least have one interview a week. Ideally, you should get up to 10 interviews a week. Like, so if you're really serious about it, then you press your foot to the gas and you do maybe, 25, 30 applications a day, and then, you're hitting them. But since you're not in urgent need of jumping ship, like I did that when, if I quit my last job and I was like, oh, I better find something within the next month or two. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start hitting like 20, 50 applications a day. You know what I mean? On easy apply. All I'm saying, I mean, you can put your foot down once you do like 4 or 5 interviews, it'll become smooth as ice for you. The first time you're nervous, second time you're a tiny bit nervous, third time you're smooth, fourth time you're even better, and fifth time you're like really smooth. So I would recommend just start jumping into interviews. And even if you're not getting them, you're still getting smoother and smoother with your interview process.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to practice.
Right.
Yeah, like really set up the whole scenario and be that nervous.
Right.
Yeah,
so I would, you need to do the 10-10-10 every day. Focus on numbers, not emotion. Like, don't get emotional about it. Just hit, apply, easy apply, easy apply, easy apply. Hit 10 of those. And if you have a list, like I have a whole section in my book called the Dream 100, where you can kind of go like best places to work in Austin, and you find a list of 100 companies, for example, and then you just start applying to those if that's your list, right? Or you can make your own list. Say you want to be in film or something, you can make your list of, Netflix, Apple TV, something like that, if that lights your fire. So, but you have a list of your top 100, and then if you really want to get interviews, you go into their website, like Dell.com, go down to careers, find the position that you're really interested in, go through their whole application process. It's a lot more tedious than just easy apply on LinkedIn. But when you apply through their website, it escalates the value to them. They feel like you're not just another, LinkedIn application there. They're like, this person is really interested in directly working for our company, and I think it goes directly to the HR head instead of to like a bunch of recruiters or something. Which is what you want.
Yeah.
So it's even more valuable than LinkedIn, but it does take more time. And I mean, I have virtual assistant who will do it for you if you want, who will go in and actually apply to these directly, these positions, and we can set that up for you. I mean, if you're interested.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, that's been good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else on your?
Well, so let me ask, what are your thoughts on like trying to work with like a recruiting agency or something? I had a friend who
I like them.
had one.
Yeah, I like them, but I would stay weary of, you're going to end up doing a lot of interviews, which is good to get comfortable with doing interviews, but you're going to end up talking to a lot of recruiters from these agencies, like, cyber coders and all these.
Mhm.
They always want to interview you first to make sure you're like a real person and make sure you're personable, and they're not going to send it to their guy, their connection, once they vet you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're going to have to talk to you first, but I would try and make it as short as possible. Once you start getting a lot of them, like I told you, I got up to like 10 interviews a week. I think
Yeah.
it only took me 2 weeks to get an offer. So, I was like cranking, but, but yeah, I would jump on and do the interview with the recruiters, but keep it as short as possible and, nice as possible. And really you should look at them as the gift that keeps giving, because they can, submit you to another 100 companies themselves.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
if you are on their nice side and they like you, then they're like, hey, I got another idea for you. I got another idea. If they don't get you in on this, they'll get you in on something else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they'll constantly be scheming on who they can get to what position. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
work with. And they
Yeah.
also touch base with the company, and they're like, what's at the top of your list. So they have the connection as to like what the company needs badly
Yeah.
already.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're very insightful, but yeah, you can waste a lot of time talking to them.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just keep it
Interesting.
short and sweet, and be nice and be like, hey, the other thing I had an idea with these guys is, like I told you, I'm up to like 20,000 recruiters now on my LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So my idea was like, hey, can I get them to start, like, can I put together a team or something of people, and then, have these guys start, getting me in and then bringing somebody in under me to take over, and then, keep doing that system. But that's just an idea I have. I haven't made it work yet. So these guys technically could be a gift that keeps giving. Like they could keep, submitting you to other positions, and if you
Yeah.
work with them,
Yeah. Okay.
the way they work typically, like Robert Half as an example, will submit you as their employee, which is kind of a little annoying. But I mean, that's the current contract I'm on right now. They do that anyway. It's like a government contract. So they submit you for, 150K annual salary, and then they take another 50K on top of that. So they take a cut on top of what you're being paid,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
or they get the first year's, like 25% of your first year salary for hiring you directly to the company, and then
Yeah.
they get that, as a standard. So you're helping them as well, and they're incentivized to help you, as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
build that up. I mean, recruiters are your, they're your blood. You know what I mean? They're on your team. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's excellent. Yeah. Yeah. So
cool.
plugging along.
All right.
Plugging
Did
along.
you optimize your LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've gone through,
Okay.
except I want a new headshot and I haven't taken the time to have
Okay.
somebody take a picture of me. But
Find somebody who looks like you. Open source.
but yeah.
Just fine.
I always, yes, I get told I look like I don't know,
Ed,
somebody famous.
Ed Sheeran.
No, no, I've never gotten that one, although I could see that. It's the guy who played Zuckerberg in
Oh, in that social
the
movie.
Facebook
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that was his name. It's Eisenberg, Jesse Eisenberg.
Okay. Yeah, I see a
Still
little
find
bit.
it
I think you
flattering.
look more like Ed Sheeran than him, but all right, buddy. So yeah,
All
do
right.
10, 10, 10. Find those niche software roles that like nobody else knows how to use this software, and then apply to them. And then if you get the interview, jump in, do a few tutorials, sign up for this free trial of the software, so you get the gist of everything. Do the overview YouTube
Yeah.
video or
Watch some
whatever.
YouTube stuff.
Yeah, get into it,
Yeah.
and it'll put you way ahead of so many other people who just they don't even bother applying because they're like, I have no idea what this is. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I mean,
Yeah.
determine if it's something that you're going to want to do too. If it's like Python
Yeah.
developer, like don't jump into like try and learn Python in like, a day or something.
In a half an hour
Yeah.
before the
You're like, oh
yeah.
wow, I'm gonna be a serious coder before I get into the interview. But the other trick is when you schedule the interview, create an agenda on like I use Google Calendar, and I'll write out the 3 questions. So typically, here's the secret that I did. So you're gonna want to write down. It's hard for somebody not to like you if you like them, right? So you want them to really like you. So what I do is I go, okay, what do I like about this job? What do I like about the company that I'm interviewing for? And what do I like about the person who's interviewing me? So I'll actually look at their LinkedIn profile. Maybe we went to the same, hey, they're from UT Austin or something. I'm like, hey, I live in Austin. Something that you can resonate with them about.
Yeah.
And then, you want to speak to those 3 things in the interview and show that one, you like the job, you like the company, and you like the person you're interviewing with. And those 3 things will set you apart from other interviewees. But I do that immediately when I'm scheduling the appointment. So I don't wait for like a half hour before the appointment to go do research the company. I do it when I set the appointment. And it saves you a lot of time because you'll get the notification on your phone. You might be in the middle of 10 other things, and you're like, oh wow, I gotta jump into this. You know what I mean?
Should have. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Um,
smart.
yeah. So
Okay. Let's see. Mhm.
so set those 3 things. So what I like about the company, what I like about the job, and what I like about the person interviewing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a Google search. So like, you know, what's the mission statement of the company, and that might resonate with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sound cheesy or brown nosy, but you want to make it authentic and genuine.
Yeah. Find something you actually
Yeah.
like about the
Like, I love
company.
the North Star of the company, and you're like, well, what does that even mean? You want to really make it a genuine statement, like, you know,
Be a real person. Got it.
yeah, real recognizes real. You know
Oh,
what I mean? They'll
yeah.
smell phony from a mile away. It reminds me, I did a
Yeah.
job. I had to interview people as I had to build a team, like as you mentioned in the beginning of the call. And I remember developers are they're bad to talk to. Like, you're like, so tell me what you like about HTML5 or something, or CSS or you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I love CSS. And you're like, that doesn't really tell me anything. Can you expound on that a little bit? Like,
Oh man. Yeah.
yeah,
Talking is hard
yeah. Especially for
sometimes.
developers too. Some of these developers just want to sit with headphones on all the time and just not talk
Yeah.
to anybody. But
Yeah.
it's the nature of the beast. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This is good.
All right,
This is
brother.
good. Actually, the one thing I did find is that it's the start of the week that I always forget to start doing my 10-10-10. Like I need to put, I think I need to put an appointment on Monday, right? Just like that little
Yeah.
break over the weekend. And then
Set a
I'm like, oh,
reminder.
right. It's
Use
Wednesday
Alexa.
and I haven't looked. There you go. Yeah.
I have
Every
Alexa
Monday.
here. I just set a reminder.
Yeah.
I think it just went off. Yeah, it's asking me what's the reminder for. But that'll do it. Like you can say every Monday, remind me at 10 a.m. to do my LinkedIn. I like to
Yeah. Create a meeting.
Alexa disregard. Anyhow, so yeah, set something up so it'll remind you. But I like to do it Monday through Friday. Don't do it on the weekends because you won't get much response, and then you'll just build up additional requests. And I believe LinkedIn will cut you off at a point if you send too many and they don't accept them. But that's, I mean, you can also, if you get to that point, you wait a week and you should get a bunch more, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes once a month I would go through when I was really doing a lot, like 50 to a day or so. And they recently set more limits. So I think you can do more on your phone than you can on a computer. So if I hit my phone, I'll do like 15-20 on Monday, 15-20 on Tuesday. Maybe I'll forget Wednesday. I'll do another 15 or 20 on Thursday. You know what I mean? So you can do a little bit more to make up for what you miss. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend going over like 100 a week because you're going to start, backing up. And then what you have to do is, and like on Friday, try not to do them all on Friday because people are off, they're gone, they're out of the office. But you can actually go in once a month and delete your past invites that are still sitting there.
Okay.
I think it takes a while for LinkedIn to kind of reset everything and go, oh, but I think they still hold some limits there. So yeah, try not to hit more than 100 a week.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll tell me if I bump up against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Got
Excellent.
about 5 more minutes, I think, on the call. But
anything else you think I should know? To share?
No, I think you should do some of those niche software things. Look for those. Create your list of 10 keywords that you feel are like, blue oceans. So you want to cut out all the competitiveness that you can and look for those software things. There's a lot of money in Jira, Jira right now. There's a lot of money in Salesforce. There's a lot of money in, there's a lot of these niche, things that companies need a lot of. Ticketing, there's a bunch of ticketing ones that are used a lot. ServiceNow, that's another one.
Oh yeah.
Key one. There's a lot of people looking for people who know how to use that. And these are just little things that are super easy to use once you jump in there and you try them. You know what I mean? They're very simple. It's just
actually I went through that with Jira. I
Okay.
kept seeing that. So like 3 weeks ago, I set up an account and started tracking some stuff at the current job. I'm like, well, I'll start using it.
Right.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
Yeah. And look for even
sure.
more obscure ones than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need somebody who can, be a project manager in blank and just, jump in, apply. If you get a bite, if you get a call, jump in, do the tutorial on it quickly before the call and get your knowledge up when you set the appointment. You know what I mean? Give yourself a couple days to jump in there.
Smart.
Cool.
Excellent. Good stuff, man.
All right, brother. Keep it going. 10, 10, 10.
10, 10, 10. All right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good one.